So, okay, I wanted to tell you part two. So, as soon as I landed in Hawaii, it was just, I went through emotional, mental, and physical abuse. One of the first things that happened was we had went to a barbecue. So you know, all of the Marine friends were there, and the girlfriends were there, and the wives were there, and I was talking. Well, my husband had a friend. We're from New York, we're Puerto Rican, and he met a guy who was from New Jersey and was Puerto Rican. And that was kind of like his closest friend. And he had a new girlfriend, but when we were at the barbecue, I was talking to his ex. No, not about anything. I think I was just, introducing myself and just talking, random stuff. And by the end of the day, I was grabbed by my daughter's father. I don't even like to call him husband, because I'll get into the habit of saying that, and he's not when I talk about him. My husband, you've met 33 years this month. He is my husband. So I like to say my daughter's father. He grabs me, and his friend is coming in, and his friend's girlfriend's coming into one of the houses on the base, and his friend was flipping out on me, saying, why was I talking to his ex? What was I telling his ex? Was I trying to make trouble for him? I'm telling you, narcissism is ugly. And my daughter's father was taking his side, and I'm like, what the heck? And so his friend's girlfriend was trying to tell him she didn't even talk to me. She didn't even do anything. She wasn't starting any trouble. And he kept telling her to shut up. And, he was just totally going for me, verbally. But he was in a rage. And so my daughter's father took me home and hit me. And it was the pain. How could you go against me? I didn't do anything. And all he kept saying was, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Why? Why? Is that love? So they called the cops several times when I lived in Hawaii. I remember, I remember asking God to help me forget, because it was too painful to remember all the stuff. But these are the few things that I still think about from time to time. And like I said, I did the Hawaii palette, and it made me think of that. We went to this place called a Polynesian Cultural Center, really nice. And I wanted to go to the I don't remember. I think it was like the Mormon exhibit or something, and they made bird cages. And I remember, I said, I really want to go. I want to see the bird cages. I think they made it they weaved them. And my daughter's father was like, no. And I said, well, if you don't want to go, that's fine. I just want to go. I'll just go, just check it out. I'll be back. If you leave, I'm going to beat you. Again, why? I remember I was at my wit's end. I was ready to, leave. And so they offer services to help marriages. One of the issues in the military is that men can be violent with their family. So they offer like discounted services for therapy, and the therapist, was doing therapy. I think we had 10 sessions. And by the middle of it, he turns around. Middle of the 10 sessions, he turns around and tells my daughter's father, "What is it with you? Why is it that you don't want her to be happy? It just seems like every time she's happy, you want to take that away from her. Anything she enjoys, you want to take away from her. Why?" he asked him. He just giggled. He didn't have an answer. And I remember I was just getting so fed up and so fed up. And he pushed me, and I almost fell on top of my daughter in the walker. She was in the walker. And thank goodness I got my balance. I could have fallen on top of her. I could have broken her neck. And then when I found out about the affair between those two things, I started putting away every cent I had. If my family sent me money, or if there was money left over from the groceries, that was another thing. He never wanted to take me to do groceries. And I didn't have a driver's license at the time, because he wanted to sit and watch sports all day long. As soon as one thing finished, there was something else to watch. And I was like, I need to do groceries. You got to take me. I got to the point I just started driving on my own, even without a license. I was always scared that I would get caught. But whatever money I had left over from the grocery money, I can tell you, pennies, nickels, dimes. That's what I used to. I was just putting it away. If my family sent me money for my birthday, I would just put it away. And I went across the street. There was a lawyer. I just walked into it was right across the street. I just walked into the office. Said, "How much is it for divorce?" Because one of my friends had told me, if you're thinking of divorcing him, you better do it here, because I believe it's like a no fault divorce or something. It's quick, it's easy, it's inexpensive. If you go to New York, it's this whole long process. We have to do therapy. We have to live apart for a year, and all of these things. More money and stuff. So, just asked him, how much is a divorce? He said $300. Do you have any assets? No. Okay. He's in the military, right? Okay, you get full custody of your daughter. There's no way he can get custody at all, not even partial, because he could be sent away at any moment. So he's like, I could get you alimony. I said, I don't want nothing from him, but I do want child support. So he says, okay, fine. And they get a certain amount if they have children. So that, would have to be sent to me. I mean, this guy, I remember he didn't even want to buy clothes for his daughter, but every time we went out shopping, he'd buy a pair of black pants. He had like a whole closet lined of black pants that he never wore. But if I said I need something for his daughter, he would give me a hard time. Money for his daughter. So, like I said, when I found out that he committed adultery, I felt like a knife pierced my heart. That was a painful experience. So I spent my last couple of months there, paying the lawyer. When I finished paying him the $300, he filled out the paperwork, and he said, just have him sign it. And I only told him 2 lies ever. He lied to me all the time. And when you're with a narcissist, they could do whatever they want to, but God forbid you do it back to them. Then, it's like I can kill you, because even though I hit you first, you're not supposed to hit me back. That type of thing. Told him a lie in the beginning of our relationship, and I told him the lie at the end. He said, you have to promise me you're going to let my mother see the baby, and if she wants to take her on the weekends, which wasn't going to happen, I said, yeah, just sign the paper. And he didn't want to sign it, but he did, because he thought, now I'm free. Now I can go out with any girl I want. I could do whatever I want. So he did. We moved out of our apartment. We were in a hotel the last week. At that time, the military paid for everything. They didn't pay for the divorce, but they paid to have all my stuff shipped back, and they paid for your plane ticket. And I remember, he wanted to keep up with the Joneses. If they had nice furniture, he wanted to have fancy furniture. They had a stereo system, he wanted a stereo system. TV, and all. I'm like, you know what? Because I really didn't care. I was like, you know what? You can have everything. I just want the bed, my daughter's bed, and I'll take the sofa. Because I knew I was probably going to have to sleep on the sofa when I got to my mom's house. And they shipped that back. I got my ticket. We had to go before the court. And the judge said, I'm going to give you one last chance. Are you sure this is what you want? I said yes, but he didn't answer. My heart was, this was the longest 3 seconds of my life. And then he was like, yes. And again, he had told me, because he thought, he was thinking about all the girls he could go out with and do whatever he wanted. And I breathed such a sigh of relief. And then I got on the plane and went home to New York. But let me tell you, though, Hawaii is so beautifully exotic. The cultural center shows you how all the different Polynesian cultures are. There's different cultures. You have the Samoans and the Hawaiians and the this and the that. I think they even had New Zealanders there. It was really, interesting. And then part of their culture is when the Mormons came to be missionaries there. I mean, the sand was so clean. I was used to the dirty sand and the dirty ocean from New York, as I lived, New York City. We lived Coney Island Beach, Brighton Beach, all these different beaches, Manhattan Beach. But it was always dirty, and the water always looked dirty. But in Hawaii, you had black sand from lava, you had pink sand, you had white sand. It was absolutely beautiful. The flora and fauna, as they call it. In New York City, you have some trees, you have the park, but they had the most exotic, beautiful flowers in Hawaii. They had like exotic birds. It was just really, really beautiful. One time, I actually saw a sunset that took over the entire horizon, and a bunch of people were trying to take a picture of it, and you couldn't get it. You need like a special lens. But I will never forget that in my life, that sunset. Now when I watch any type of sunset, I can't appreciate it because of how beautiful the sunset was over there. And that water was crystal clear. The floor of the ocean is coral. You could see the fish swimming, little fishes swimming by your feet. You have to, and I didn't know it at the time. I'm used to my beach. You go in the water, but the coral's cutting your feet, and you're supposed to buy water shoes because of that. But it was just, the weather was beautiful. It was sunny, most of the time. The only scary part were the hurricanes. There was a time that I was freaking out because I could see one from far away in the ocean, but it never touched land. So there was a horrible hurricane before I got there, and then there was one horrible hurricane after I left. But that's like the only thing that's I could say is really like bad as far as like the geography or the weather or whatever. It was just beautiful, beautiful. It wasn't hot. It was hot, but it wasn't humid. The only time it got too hot that you couldn't sleep, like I didn't have an air conditioner or even a fan. But in July and August, it got really bad. Um, I used to see sometimes when I went to, I think it was called Save a Lot. It's kind of like the Kmart. I used to see coats, and I'm like, why? And they say, oh, people who take vacation, or even if you go to the mountain, it gets cold up in the mountain type of thing. You'll even see snow. But, you didn't need any of that. Like January, at night, you needed a sweater or a light jacket. That's it. It would get windy and cool, but it's never cold. I remember your Christmas trees would die because it was so hot. You can't like decorate like right after Thanksgiving. You can't. You would have to wait like 2 weeks before Christmas because your trees would die, and you have to buy another one if you like real trees. So one summer was 104 degrees and everyone was at the beach. One Christmas it was 104 degrees and everybody was at the beach. It was just weird, but it was really beautiful. It was cleaner. The only, and as far as like I said, geography was bad, but as far as other things, women you walk around half naked. They're wearing like what they call them, bandeaus, if they were skinny anyway. And then they would wear, I guess you could say a bikini, and then they'd wear like a wrap. They would walk the streets like that. That kind of bothered me. The heavier women, or I should say the Hawaiian women, they wore what was called muumuus. And I bought two. They were so comfortable. I thought, with it being hot, that I wouldn't be comfortable. I'd rather just walk around in tanks, in shorts. But no, it was very, very comfortable. It wasn't tight. The material wasn't heavy. It was just very comfortable and very pretty. So the muumuus were basically, and I think it was when the Mormons came, they kind of got the women to wear that. Because, you're walking around half naked. It's hot. So the muumuus was just, it was real nice. It was like a short sleeve, beautiful lacy material for the top. And then the rest, went down like a gown. But very comfortable material. It wasn't like fancy. It was very comfortable, very pretty. The muumuus were so, so nice. As far as the people, there was a lot of prejudice. First of all, the Hawaiians did not appreciate the white culture taking over the island. They didn't appreciate the military presence. There was a lot of military bases there. So you had some issues with some prejudice. You also had, because if you remember a lot, I don't know if the Asians were living there during World War II. That kind of like as spies, some of them, but some of them they just, settled there. So you had some problems there. So there was racism amongst the Asians and the Hawaiians, and then the white and or military presence there. So that was a negative. Rich people had rich people had beach houses there. And unfortunately, just like the Native Americans in this, in America, the Hawaiians there, a lot of them lived in poverty the same way, here. The other thing I didn't like is that they had like strip bars. And I used to get woken up in the middle of the night because we had one down the block with drunk guys beating on their girlfriends, the girls yelling and screaming, "Please don't kill me," and "Don't hurt me." And I remember I called the police, but nothing, I don't know whatever happened. There was a lot of abuse, a lot of affairs were happening amongst some of the wives. I guess they felt lonely, or military wives. They would leave. There was a lot of divorce there. And one of the things I also found out was that some of these military men uh, got arrested for pedophilism. So that was weird. I never heard of anything like that, but that was one of the things that I experienced there. Um, so it had it good. It had its good and its bad. I feel that if like maybe you want to go for a honeymoon or just a getaway with a romantic getaway with your with your significant other, I would love to return. I would love to return like with my husband of 33 years. But I don't know if it's changed. I mean, we're talking 40 years ago. I don't know what's changed about it. And the plane ticket there 40 years ago was $2,000, and that was on sale. So that did make me feel trapped because I couldn't visit my family. $2,000 is outrageous. I remember asking my mom, can but I don't remember if I said I'll consider it my birthday and Christmas, Mother's Day present. But I just need to get away, and I remember she did it. That's on sale. Normally it's over $3,000. I mean, you are thousands and thousands of miles away from the mainland in the middle of the Pacific. And it's a 14-hour, flight. So it's expensive. That's the other thing. I remember checking out JetBlue to see if they had anything for Hawaii. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no plane tickets from JetBlue to go there. So, those are the things that I experienced when I was in Hawaii. It's beautiful. It's exotic. The weather's gorgeous. The scenery is gorgeous. But I was living in a hell, in a nightmare because of who I was with. And any type of happiness I had, he just wanted to take it from me. A person who loves you doesn't take their friend's side over you, doesn't smack you because they believe their friend over you. That's not love. That's not love. And I got that divorce and, went through some stuff after the divorce as well. Because in their mind, you're still theirs. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do that as a part 3 next week. But yeah, those are the things I experienced when I was in Hawaii, and I don't know if it's the same, but it is absolutely gorgeous. If I had money, I would visit it often. Like some people, if they live in California, they'll just go there as a getaway because I'm sure the ticket is not as much. But from New York, it was $2,000 to $3,000 at the time. So I would do it if I had money for those tickets. I would do it. I would just hang out there, go to stay in a Honolulu hotel. They got Pearl Harbor there, which I remember visiting. I remember when Miss Hawaii had won the Miss America pageant. She was at the mall, and they were like really proud of her. So anyway, they were really proud of the fact that Miss Hawaii had won. So it was and it's funny because they used to say, "Oh, you're from New York?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why would they want to even go to New York? This is beautiful, This is absolutely gorgeous." So anyway, yeah, that was my experience.